Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. Many times, the most confusing thing for beginner students who are being introduced to differential calculus are the notations involved. And differential calculus doesn't just have one notation, there are actually four common notations that are being used. You have Newton's notation, which is also known as dot notation, you have Leibniz notation, you have Lagrangian notation, and you have the prime notation. Now, there are historical and practical reasons for each notation, but they all have the exact same function. Now, I've used the dot notation before in a previous video, and it's important to note that the dot notation is going to be used mostly in physics or other sciences, in which calculus is going to be applied to real world situations. A really good book I recommend for beginner students is Morris Klein's Calculus. In this book, he actually gives readers a good intuitive understanding of calculus, how it works, and why it works, and how we come up with the notations that we do. In his book, he summarizes how all four notations are all identical in meaning, but all fall short of some form of perfection. Newton's notation is concise but poor because the dot above the dependent variable is often overlooked. It also fails to show what the independent variable is. Leibniz notation suggests that the limit is a quotient. Uh, but for example, the limit of average speeds is not a quotient. Now, Leibniz notation must be taken in its entirety, but if properly understood, it does remind us that the limit, although itself is not a quotient, is obtained from a quotient, and that it's beneficial because it does show the independent and dependent variables. Now, Lagrange's notation, like Newton's, fails to show what the independent variable is. The prime notation is informative but clumsier than both Newton's or Lagrangians. Now, a small tip to use when Newton's or the dot notation is you want to use that notation whenever time is the independent variable. Since it doesn't really give you, usually time will be very consistent throughout a lot of your math and science equations. So that brings me to my calculus tip of the day. Make sure you are understanding the notations. It can be extremely frustrating to learn how to do something one way and then getting completely derailed when you find that another notation is being used for the same exact thing and you are kind of confused at how to solve that problem. If you've ever read Polya's How to Solve It, his very first step is understand the problem. And part of understanding the problem is understanding the notations that are being used. This will get you extremely far early in your calculus curriculum and being able to solve more complex problems. Now, with understanding the notation, the best way to learn calculus or mathematics in general is by reading math and doing math. By practicing problems, you gain an intuitive understanding of the notations and what they represent. So that's my tip for today. It seems small, but I think it's extremely important. And a tip that I think if you can really grasp this down early, it'll carry you along a whole lot further in your academic career. So, what other tips do you think beginner calculus students should know? Leave them down in the comments below. Let's continue to help our fellow peers out for anyone who watches this video and are excited to learn or want to know any other information. As always, hope you have a great day. Stay educated and educate others.